Good morning, everyone. I believe the charts are up. I didn't forget this morning. It's a good thing. All right, so we start today taking a look at junk bonds. So why? Well, this is something that I review each week and in the weekend letter, and it's kind of a measure of broader market institutional risk on, risk off. And this whole year, and even there were parts of others that it didn't move very much, meaning like market would move up, nicely, and it basically didn't move much. And it's like, okay, markets are going up. There's this lack of so much uh, total risk on. I'm so totally believe in it, and we got a change in that. And so, there was this period that we've been talking about a month of going nowhere. But this time, as the market went up, it broke out in unison with it, and it moved higher. And so that's a good thing. I mean, like, kind of as we look at different things, it's like the markets are now firing on all cylinders, so to speak, to varying degrees. So that becomes a concern. The more things there are not to be concerned about, right? Because we basically have concerns every single day as to news or economic reports, or this pattern isn't just perfect, or whatever else it might be. And as certain markets, whenever reach new all-time highs, and now there's no more resistance and everything's firing on all cylinders, it's a wonderful thing, right? Nothing to worry about, except that when there's nothing to worry about, there's something to worry about. So there's no, you know, perfect situation. In any event, as I look at this, I say, okay, this looks like it's going to move up and make new all-time highs. But we see this is the area that there were some declines from. And then this one, this was at the beginning of the year and Liberation Day and all of that. And so the markets having gotten to an extreme, and now, through those long period of consolidation, it's up here, and the Qs are actually at an all-time high this morning. So this is one concern. And look, when we get concerns, that doesn't mean don't do anything. It just means look at what's going on in the broader markets in a systematic, logical way, and I say, okay, as long as this is going up. So I see where this is on the weekly time frame. And look to the left. It's coming out of a consolidation. One of yesterday's comments was this, the gap up, it's bullish. It shouldn't fill the gap. It didn't fill the gap. And it continued higher. And so we do the factory work day to day. And I don't know where this is right now, but anyway, things are kind of unchanged, resting a little bit after the last couple of days. And that makes sense. And more economic news coming tomorrow. Big numbers. I didn't even look today. I should remember from the previous days, but what's today? Let's see. What do we have coming today? Oh, Powell's still talking. He started at 10 o'clock. He talked yesterday. Some new home sales. Well, that should be interesting. As interest rates have come down, um, the home builders have come off of the lows a little bit. So we want to keep an eye on that to see how they're going to do, and like Home Depot and such that are interest rate sensitive. So yeah, we'll see. I don't usually, the Fed chair isn't going to say anything different than yesterday. But anyway, he's talking at 10 o'clock. Okay, so let's take a look around. Um, the unknown unknowns. There's always unknown unknowns, right? And so that's one of the struggles that we all deal with as humans, right? Because our all for everyone, our natural, focus is certainty and not making mistakes, right? Well, whatever job we have, don't make stupid mistakes. Right? How many times did your mother or father tell that? Don't make a stupid mistake. Well, you know, no matter what we do, as much as we can try to perfect what we're doing, there are the unknown unknowns that could affect things. So in any event, Hughes moved up yesterday. Another unfilled gap. There's one down here, and just eyeballing that. And it's not a close, but it looks like new all-time highs to me. And there was the golden cross that I mentioned yesterday, the 50 going through the 200. So a positive, but the death cross was the low. Let's hope this is not the high, but we shall see. All right, IWM, right? Participating, huge underperformer. Generally, what underperforms, money gravitates toward it. It's got plenty of room to go up, and we'll see if it gets through the 200. Not doing anything this morning. Pretty much nothing is, but nice little consolidation over here. Yeah, let's do SPY and I'll get to the futures. So same pattern, gapped up, top of the trading range. So this week we've got a wide range bar. All right, we'll see where it closes by Friday. But when we get a wide range bar, especially one that occurs from a consolidation, it's a black and white area where you have to have a stop. Right. And then we want to see it stay in the upper half. Now there's an unfilled gap here, and if it filled the gap, it's really not a big deal, but it shouldn't fill the gap. The most bullish thing it would do is not fill the gap, meaning it might jiggle around here a bit and then eventually go higher and make new all-time highs. Coming off the highs a little bit here as I speak. So a little breakout failure initially, but not a big deal from the higher time frames. And let's just eyeball this where it's at. Yeah, so near yesterday's high, not a big deal. And SPX, I haven't even looked. All right, that was yesterday. And that came up. It's supposed to come up a lot. Under yesterday's low. Don't like that. That should have come up more. I wouldn't call either of those a no-brainer. That's for sure. I thought that would be much higher considering yesterday, and it's not. So not excited. Yeah. So 6,100 was the high volume strike yesterday, and it held there. Well, as always, we'll just see how this goes. I got, what do I have that? I don't know why that's up there. I must have moved it. 6150 will probably be the higher volume strike today, I'm thinking. And if there's a high volume at 6,200, I think that'll tend to put a lid on things, but we'll see how that unfolds. All right, interest rates are up a little bit, not a big deal. They've come down a lot. See if they stabilize. I think the most significant thing, well, this is significant that it's come down as much as it has, but the 13-week has collapsed. Yeah, maybe it's an exaggeration, but look, it was up here and coming all the way down here. And if you look at it on a closing basis, it gives a better view of how much it's come down in a short amount of time. So, we hear the Fed chairman saying, jobs are okay and economy is okay, and no need to be rushing in to cut interest rates, but the market is saying you're going to cut interest rates because we're cutting them for you. to some degree here, and we'll see how the that plays out. But the markets are saying an interest rate cut is coming. All right. Um, whatever. Let me go back here for a second. And the futures are going to be, not moving much. You can see kind of unchanged there, consolidating. Crude oil collapsed, as you know. It's on support. We want to see how many buyers want to show up here or not. Gold. Gold is on some support here. You can see, if I scrunch this up a little bit, or put a higher time frame. You can see it's right on those pivots there. So, taking that out yesterday was a little bit of a intraday reprieve, and we'll see how that develops. But we thought this was possibly going to break out. It did not. Yeah, you got the big bear yesterday. Yeah, that was, and we talked about it in the green room. I said, about what keyed me on that was, first, I would probably have never looked at it, but it was a play that Dan had a couple of weeks ago, and it didn't move, right? It didn't do much. It looked promising. And I don't have the volume on here, but there's a big chunky volume that was going on. And anyway, it tightened up. You can read tight versus loose. Yeah, I wrote a little piece on that. It's on the website. But that was the key, the volume. And not that I thought it would go that much, but it was suggesting that it was getting ready to move. And, it had a very substantial move. And it looks like it's going to go higher. Right? Where is this thing? Yeah, gapping up. So, all right, silver not doing much of anything here. Nothing is really doing much of anything. Gold, silver, oil markets aren't moving, and today we'll just see what holds on to the gains of the last couple of weeks, how they consolidate, or what they're going to do. All yours now.
Yeah, yesterday there were breakouts galore. We actually posted 4 of them pre-market, and gaps messed them up, but we were able to get in cat. We gave a small lot of the Qs to the ETF letter. Alex and I were, I think, more aggressive buying. We bought XLK. We bought SPY-G. And these look great. The fact that it wouldn't retrace and then closing bullish. SPY-G we did. And we did a bunch of them. The QQQE, the leveraged Qs. What did we do? Something with an I in it? There it is, IWR. We did. So a lot of good things out there, and I got a lot of things on the watch list. Let's do what we always do. Oh, got it. Thanks. Thanks. All right, NEXT alarm went off. This I'm watching for a 1, 2, 3. So remember, Alex, you and I were talking about volume the other day. All we do is see where volume spikes and see if it's in alignment with bullish price action, or igniting, or ending. And so this confirms this igniting breakout. So it's a plus. Now, would I trade a 1, 2, 3 on this without the volume? Yes, but it's a plus. So that's why we say secondary. Well, I hope we get a 1, 2, 3 on that. My APLD alarm went off, but that's why I just posted it as a long. It's still not a potent turn. A potent turn is what? It's a big bar that jumps out at you. It's a gap reversal, it's a bottoming tail, it could be a multi-bar turn, and then this is not potent at all. But it's in the area where it should turn. I like the little pre-market action, and so that's why I said let's do half 5 minute, half 30 minute. But yeah, so see if that volume confirms. Sure. Wow, that's a very big bar. And it's up. Wow, it's up a big percent right now. Yeah, look at yesterday morning. Just ignited. So you had to be quick on that. ARC. We are in this in the ETF letter. Up alarm went off. We entered right here on this red bar ignored breakout. That is such a beautiful no-brainer setup right there. All right, yeah, Raul. Yeah, I see Raul here on YouTube, RSI. The only thing I don't like is far from the 20, but I do like the gap reversal. But compare this one. I know they're totally separate, but I want to illustrate one or two things. This was also a nice reversal bar, and it's an inside bar. Well, that's not the one, but that's on my list too. It's Crowd. Here you go. Here, do you see, Raul, the difference of these two? This one is a range expansion, gap reversal, parallel 20 and 50 with a 1, 2, 3, with right there at resistance. So this one I like better than your RSI. So DG long yesterday's high? Absolutely not. It has to get over Monday's high. This was on my list yesterday, and I think it got a downgrade. But it's a bullish weekly, so it is constructive. But over yesterday's high, no way. ADP alarm. Okay, good. See, it's gapping down. See, this was on our long list yesterday with a multi-bar turn here, but I didn't like the morning weakness. So now it's gapping down. I still have an alarm up here. So this one has to get over yesterday's high. Stone, we're in trail mode. What a beautiful little buy setup flag that was. We sell the third. It looks great. Paul down alarm. We're in this. It's constructed daily, weekly, monthly. So this one's a longer term trade. We're in it in the ETF letter, and then in the advisory letter, we're short the. Yeah, way the heck down here, the 91 puts. So those are all the alarms. Look at earnings. BB. BB. Yeah, I did a put spread on this. I did the 4, 3.5. I got 10 cents. I did a 20 lot, so I'll probably just let that go out at full profit. Have 3 days of risk, and maybe I don't know, maybe put a stop 30-minute low. We'll see. And FedEx. I shorted the 205s naked. I just put a bid out for 15 cents just because now that it's rallying, I might even get I'm gonna switch it to a dime. I sold them for $1. AVAV 205. Look, see, you see how I love parallel and rising it 20 and 50 like this, when they're not extended, and then you just get bullish patterns that hug the 20. And look at this beautiful gap breakout right there. Wow. And there's another one. Sloppier now. So nothing to do. Maybe a put spread. Were bullish put spread, but otherwise no pattern. Apex bottoming pattern, but not a quality one because you don't have any something bars like GE alarms open. Nice 1, 2, 3. Up alarm went off. So I like this as a directional and a put spread. Now the only concern I have for directional, I mean, this was the deepest retracement from this whole run, and the weekly could set up for an M top here. So, I'm not going to be a pig on the target. And so, Greg, do you like this as a directional? I'm starting to question the reward to risk because I think it's going to have trouble up here at the prior high because of the weekly.
We would always assume that, but we don't. Trend is up, so the benefit of the doubt goes to the trend. But I hear you.
All right, well, it's posted as a long, but if you want to veto it, all right, here's some more earnings pre-market. All right, that's slopping around in a wild $17 range. So we'll come back to it. Just see that we talk about sloppy bottoming patterns versus quality ones, and we had an MT live on it. But we had two kind of bottoming patterns: inverse head and shoulders, and bottoming patterns MT live like the last 5 weeks. And this is an example of a horrible bottoming pattern. I don't have time to give you the whole course right now, but the bars, the moving averages, the no something, the upside shakeouts. So that still looks bad. Sam gave me some quality bottoming patterns here. We'll get to it in a second because I posted some. And she kept them down. You're gone. No interest. Winnebago. All right. Yeah, I don't hear anything. Greg, got you. This is also an example of a horrible bottoming pattern. And now it's gapping down. So that looks like a short idea. Plus call spread. And finally, DAKT. That's a big mess. I got zero interest in that. Akamai alarm went off. So this is a bottoming pattern Greg mentioned yesterday. So is this one quality? I don't know. It's not jumping out at me as a no-brainer. To me, it's more a no-brainer put spread. Just because I don't yes, there's a void here. Yes, it's been going sideways for a month. I just don't know about the oomph that it's going to have. But that's a bottoming pattern. Bear sign consolidation and an uptrend. Notice the 20 MA flattened out into the rising 50. So that's a long watch. Let me make sure I have an alarm. Yeah, on my other computer. I'm gonna set an alarm at, it's just arbitrary because I don't see any gaps. How about 285.20? Cost. Consolidation and an uptrend. You just gotta, work an entry, whatever time frame you're trading, but it's a bold rectangle on the weekly. Nice gap breakout yesterday, nice 15-minute chart. So that could be a 5-minute high day trade if the markets are in bullish mode. Quebec Sierra, there was some news on it. I forget what, but gap's too big. QuantumScape. Is this a competitor? Are these one of these quantum computings, SMCI? If so, batteries. All right, thanks. I was going to say, if it was, I was going to say, let's look at the cousins. ASTS, gapping down. So this 30-minute low, it's still very powerful. And this gap reversal on Monday was powerful. So it's not a textbook Climo, but if it can't bounce 30-minute low, I like a call spread over the high. Talking about call spreads, I've been playing around with this circle for a couple of weeks now. We finally got the bearish reversal. So they can be spready. So I was trying to short more calls yesterday and I didn't get filled, but I will be trying again. Euro. That's on Sam's list. It's not bad. You know, I would like it better if it didn't have the topping tail, if it were a 1, 2, 3, but let's see what it does. ARE. Now that's a quality bottoming pattern. See the difference? He said, compare that to JITS and that other one that I said was horrible. You know, I love when the moving averages have to do this because then by definition, it's telling me something about what's happened over the last 2 months. And then it has a bullet. Now, Alex might say, no, it doesn't. It has that, and there's that, and that, and that. And I would say, true, but all of this is greater than that. And it's not going to be a fast mover, but it has room to 80, 85. ENTG, igniting, gap, closing breakout. Look at the 15, looks fantastic. So I'm you know, it is a resistance. Ideally, a 1, 2, 3 would be better. And then the target would be first target 85, second target 90. But I'm going to try to sell some puts. The problem is they look illiquid. TENB, another bottoming pattern. I like half lot over yesterday's high. This was one we actually talked about in the green room for a while. Oh, I just got filled on my FedEx at a dime. So I'm out of that. Good. So I made 90% even. So look, my CMG up alarm went off. So that's the idea of selling options into earnings. That despite a gap against you, you're going after far out of the money, volatility crush, and it works the majority of the time. And you know, I look how much this gapped against me. But I was short the 205s and just got out at a dime. So I'm done with it. I don't want to. I mean, you got rocks in your head if you want to hold this for a dime until Friday. CLH, our CMG alarm. Crowd up alarm. That's one I posted. All right, Qs are the best again. That's the one I gave. XLK alarm. So yeah, so Alex, we did good. Qs, this and that. All right, so I gotta get through these alarms here, but crowd alarm. CME low alarm. That thing's not acting right. All right, crowd looks great. I gave I gave long stock. There wasn't enough premium. If somebody wants to help me, see if check the premium for me on crowd. Five alarm, Greg, that was yours, early alarm, nothing to do now, but another thing that concerns me is like that GE is the Climo on the weekly. GE. So the put spread is okay if you get filled. Let's see that sheet. Let's tighten the stop here. 54.38. Whole lot. Let's sell a third in the strength here. 55, 25. Diamonds IWM, yuck. IWM has a lot of air below. And that was the problem of not, being aggressive yesterday on new loans. Akamai up alarm. Greg, I was on your list. Wow, look at my BB put spread is flying. But no pattern for a new trade. 52. 49. All right, let's close it at 4 cents. Take the money. Curve, CRWV, low alarm. Curve, alarm. Yeah, see, I just set a low alarm on this 15-minute chart right here. See that? So this is starting to be toppy, nothing to do yet. Lulu. Yeah, let's wait 5-minute high, 234.90. NB. Ten B triggering. Half lot bottoming pattern, what we spent a while talking about the other day. Oh, it's spready though. I'm gonna bid spot 75. Q's up alarm, Alex. Our trades are doing good. Alarm looks great. Look at that 15-minute chart. Akamai, this is the one I guess I'm not sure of the oomph on it. Cyber. Yeah, I like it. I like it. I like it. Let's join you. By half lot. Stop. Weeks low. Let me check puts also. Did anybody help me on that put spread on that? What was it, crowd? And this thing has no good puts. Spy G up alarm. Spyglass. MDB, I had an up alarm. This thing went against us and now it's doing better. 212. FTG. Okay, that tighten the stop, so that's out. Go ahead and take the money. Had a nice little quick run. Stop was 27.84, yesterday's low. CME. Something's wrong with this thing. It hasn't hit our stop.